8 for 19, 5 runs scored, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, outfield third base eligible. Austin Riley may well be the National League Rookie of the Year, which is why I talk about these two guys first. Okay? But there have been some more high-rated rookies, and let's go back to 2 weeks ago. Keston Hiura has now been in the major leagues for 2 weeks. His last 5 games, he's 4 for 21. He's hitting .250 on the year with 2 runs scored, 1 homer, 1 RBI. Certainly not the numbers of Chavez, certainly not the numbers of Riley, but he's not hitting .088 or .044 like a certain shortstop did in Washington before he went back down to AAA. Hiura's here. Hiura's not going back down. It's just a matter of what kind of numbers does he put up. Now, I don't know if you can do this, but I'm going to. I don't know if it's a fair assessment, but I'm going to try to make it because it's all I got to work with. Keston Hiura last year, if you go to Facebook later, when we post this show, there's a picture of me and Keston Hiura because I took it last year. Me and Keston Hiura at a single A, high A baseball game in May. A year ago right now in high A ball. He started the year this year in triple A ball. And at triple A, he was striking out a lot, not making a lot of contact, and then he got the knack of it. Okay? And after that, he caught fire. Milwaukee calls him up. He made adjustments, is my point. And I think Keston Hiura has the talent. He has the ability to make adjustments at the major league also. I think he's better than .250. I think he's going to produce better than .250. Don't give up on Hiura. He's going to be a player, and he's going to stick in Milwaukee. Okay, another player that's going to stick is Nicky Lopez. Lopez is now the second baseman in Kansas City. He's hitting .320 on the year. He got called up around the same time that Keston Hiura did. Okay, so he's been there now for 2 weeks. He scored 3 runs. Now, I told you 2 weeks ago, Lopez does not have any power. And I'm true to my word, no home runs yet and only 1 RBI. But he makes good contact. And so if you're in a fantasy league where batting average matters, Nicky Lopez is relevant. He's hitting .320. He's a worthy add because he's going to play every day. 2 players who have shown so far they are not going to play every day. And maybe for different reasons. One's really hitting the cover off the ball. How about Willie Calhoun in Texas? I mean, is he just not killing it right now? 476 with 5 runs, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. 476. He didn't play yesterday, and he's not playing today. Okay? There's a crowded outfield in Texas right now. Hunter Pence having a great start to a season, hitting over 300. He's going to play because he's hitting. Okay? Joey Gallo's your center fielder. Nomar Mazzaro's out there. So you've got, in essence, too many players for not enough spots, which is the problem right now for Calhoun. It's certainly not performance, hitting .476. Another highly acclaimed rookie, Rogers for Colorado. Not starting again tonight. He didn't start last night. Okay? Excuse me. Didn't start Sunday. They didn't play last night. Of course he didn't start last night. They didn't play yesterday. He didn't start on Sunday, the Rockies' last game. He's not starting again tonight. He's only hitting .125. He's only played in 2 games. He's 1 for 8. But playing time is the concern for Rogers. Now, I was listening to a show today on the radio, and Bud Black was being interviewed, Rockies manager, and he said the great thing about Rogers is he can play around the field, which, listening to the manager, which I think is the best source, tells you that Rogers is more of a super utility kind of guy. I own him in a league. I'm planning to cut him because he's not going to play every day. Super utility. You know, Marwin Gonzalez, who I had on my team last week, he missed 2 games in a row. I am one of these fantasy owners. I want players on my team who are going to play. Yes, I do. And so I'm really concerned no matter what Rogers does that he may not get the playing time. Again, not starting tonight. So sort of a report card on our rookies. I give Chavez and Riley the highest grades. I give Lopez probably the 3rd highest grade right now. Keston Hiura after Lopez. And Calhoun and Rogers coming in behind them. So if I had my rathers, and I could get any of these rookies, I would take Chavez and I would take Riley, and I'd run with it and see what happens. There's some more players I want to talk about, some pitchers and a couple of hitters, and just so much material I've got here. Whoo! Will we cover it all? I promise you this, Chappie, if you're in the chat room, I am going to be finished before 7 o'clock tonight, okay? Live and real, and we're going to finish, and Chappie's going to come on. Yeah, listen to the crowd yelling for Chappie, because last night I think the show went a little long, and anyway, we had some technical issues with Spreaker. No technical issues this week, Chappie. We're going to be on, okay? What is this stuff I'm hearing here? Oh, man, all kinds of, I tell you who's not Travis Shaw yet. Travis Shaw is out of luck, I'm telling you. And Dylan Cousins underwent season-ending foot surgery on Tuesday. So, I think Dylan Cousins is a Philly backup outfielder. So we'll see Kingery back, and he's going to be playing center field tonight in Philadelphia. One of those, like Rogers, super utility guy. You just never know when he's going to play. Never know where he's going to play. Moving on to some pitchers. How about Gio Gonzalez? Are you a believer of Gio Gonzalez? Are you? Well, let's take a look at his 4 starts. All right. He hasn't gone over 5 2/3 innings yet. But neither has he pitched less than 5 innings. He hasn't surrendered more than 2 earned runs, and his high strikeout watermark over the 4 games has been 7. Okay? 15 strikeouts, 2-0 record, 1.69 ERA, Chappie's laughing, and a whip of 1.08. The question with Gonzalez, are we dealing with a house of cards, or are we dealing with gold? Fool's gold, real gold? Tell me, what do you think? So far, so good for Gio. And last year, the month he pitched in Milwaukee, really good numbers. So far, so good. I say give him a flyer. All right? If you're in an NL only, you almost have to. If you're in a mixed league, maybe you pick him up. Give him a flyer. And when the gas runs out, just get another car. Chris Bassett for Oakland, 2-1, 38 strikeouts, a 1.93 ERA, and an 0.92 whip. Pitches tonight in Cleveland against the Tribe. Oh, by the way, Gio Gonzalez is pitching tonight. That's why I brought him up, at home against the Reds. And the Reds are stacking their lineup with right-handed bats, I'm telling you. So it'll be a real litmus test for Gio. But Bassett pitches tonight at Cleveland. What did he do in his last start? Well, he pitched 8 innings, 4 hits, no earned, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Already told you his ERA is under 2. His whip is under 1. Bassett's 30 years old, and he seems to have found something. I mean, he really does. I'm looking here about Carling Bassett, one of the hottest women that ever lived. Maybe so. Maybe Chris Bassett is not the hottest pitcher who ever lived, okay? In fact, he's not. But he's pretty good right now. And again, I'm thinking Oakland's about to open up a can with Olsen hitting 4 home runs, and Chapman hit a homer last night, and you give this guy some run support. This game tonight against Bauer in Cleveland is very intriguing to me. And let's see how Bassett performs. A couple of hitters I want to talk about. Chris Davis with a K. A couple weeks ago, he ran into a wall and hurt his hip. Well, he's back in the lineup tonight for Oakland. And since hitting the wall and missing a few games during the last 2 weeks, but over the last 2 weeks, he's hit .381. Now, he didn't play on the 18th. He didn't play on the 20th. He's back in the lineup tonight. Let's keep our eye on Chris Davis. He's hitting .250 on the year with 12 home runs and 29 RBIs. Another player I want to keep my eye on tonight is Daniel Vogelbach. Yes, I do. Daniel Vogelbach of the Seattle Mariners, Chicago Cub, Hall of Famer to be, right, Chappie? Vogelbach's hitting .270 on the year, 28 runs scored, 14 home runs, 30 RBIs, Tell you what he's done over his last 3 games. On the 18th, he went 1 for 4 with an RBI. On the 19th, 2 for 3 with a homer and an RBI. And on the 20th, that last night, 2 for 2 with a homer and 2 RBIs. I call that hot. And I call Daniel Vogelbach going in Texas tonight against a right-hander a great play on a Tuesday. How about that? In fact, a right-hander in Texas and Vogelbach, you start him every day that ends in Y. Let's look at a few more players before we get into the schedule tonight that I think are worthy of adding. Jordan Lyles. I've talked about him before on this show, and I love Pittsburgh pitchers, and they may be calling up a rookie. Chappie, I won't steal your thunder because I know you love talking about rookies, but I understand it may not be too soon, or too far off, rather, before Pittsburgh calls up one of their phenom rookies. But Jordan Lyles, 4-1 with a 1.97 ERA, batting average against 199. He struck out 47 in 45 and 2/3 innings. The guy knows how to pitch, okay? And there are a few guys who know how to hit. How about Tommy La Stella? Tommy La Stella, his last 20 games, pretty good sample, right? 371 average, 26 out of 70 with 5 home runs and 15 RBIs. Let's hear it for Tommy La Stella. Yeah. He is absolutely knocking it out of the park, literally and figuratively, over his last 20 games. And if there's a player that's hotter, or that I like more, it's Rafael Devers. Whew. You know, Devers started out the year, people were complaining because he wasn't hitting any home runs. All right, sure. But over his last 32 games, Devers has rocked to a 339 average with 4 homers, 23 RBIs, 21 runs scored. And where did this come from? 5 stolen bases in the last 32 games for Rafael Devers. 5. I mean, if he keeps that up, he's going to steal 20, 25 bags this year. Nobody saw that one coming, right? So Devers, hot. You got to like him. And then, of course, the ever-popular Byron Buxton. Has there ever been more of a whipping boy in fantasy baseball than Byron Buxton? But the man has come through this year, I'm telling you. Last 22 games, he's been 20 for 75 with 4 homers and 15 stolen bases. And a lot of people might have thought, if I get Buxton, I'm going to get stolen bases. Well, he's stolen 8 this year, but it's the doubles. He's hit 19 doubles. Okay? Buxton has really turned it on, and I just think the warmer it gets, the hotter the bat will get. Buxton, Devers, La Stella, Jordan Lyles, all hot players. Now, I was watching Miles Michaelis, his last outing. Garbage time. All right, this is my garbage pile. I got 2 going in the garbage today, a hitter and a pitcher. Miles Michaelis is my pitcher in the garbage. You can have him. My grandmother used to have this old saying, and if it was something she didn't want or a piece of trash or something negative, she would say, I wouldn't have that on a Christmas tree. Well, I wouldn't have Miles Michaelis. His 4.88 ERA doesn't do much to impress. 55 innings pitched, only 37 strikeouts. You know, he's a pitcher to contact kind of guy, and the contact isn't good. So, Miles Michaelis, he's on my trash heap. And another player that's on my trash heap today, what about Seager for the Dodgers? Come on. Come on! 223 over his last 35 games with no stolen bases and only 3 home runs. He's hitting 230 on the season. I'm done with him. Okay? Seager's got to go. He's in my trash pile. So today's trash pile, Seager and Miles Michaelis. Okay? So let's do this. Let's do this over the next few minutes. I want to talk about, let's see, just real quick. I want to look at the lineups for today. And, of course, one game is already underway. Let's see if I can give you a score on that Oakland game real quick. Give me just a second. I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, the Indians are leading the A's 1-0 as we go to the top of the second. Frankie Lindor has already homered for the Indians.